Hello everyone and welcome to a special pre-release preview video of Kerbal Space Program Making History. I was sent an early access copy of the DLC and I'm here today to talk to you about the mission builder, the brand new mission builder, which is one of the things that this DLC brings. So this is it. When you open up the mission builder, we have our two things in the middle. We have our start node and docked to the start node. You can tell it's docked because there's this green line here. See, we can undock it. And then we can redock it, which, there we go. Basically, anything docked to the start node is what's set at the beginning. So we have our start node here. We'll work from the ground up. On the left-hand side, we've got all our settings, things we can add to the mission that will occur during the flight. And then when we click on each thing, you can see we can modify various aspects of the node. And everything is made by kind of dragging things out. And you connect them all with lines like this. Obviously, we'll build a proper mission out. So what we'll do is we'll make a rescue mission, Blunderbird's Training Academy. Just because I've made a lot of rescue missions on this channel, so I feel like it'd be quite a good little thing to make my first mission a rescue mission. So, what we're going to call our mission? We've got the Blunderbird's Training Academy. We're going to press save. Oh, no breathing. We'll sort all the briefing out at the end. So, we may as well leave all the things at the start node left as normal, but you can add things like a description. You can change the difficulty settings as well. We can even change the color if we want. Doesn't really do anything. Mission start time, difficulty settings, you can do whatever you want. We'll leave all this at the default though, just for the sake of making this video as concise as we can. Spawn vessel, this is the vessel that you start with. So if we open up the settings menu for this, we can see we can either want it to be player built or creator built. Creator built means that you kind of build the vessel yourself, and that's the one that the player has to use. But for sake of simplicity and giving players, the most options and the most fun, I think we'll let them build their own vessel. And we can also choose where we launch it from as well. So we can have the launch pad, runway, island runway, or this place here, which is kind of an inland space center location. But for this mission, I think it'd be cool to launch the mission from somewhere else. How do we do this? Well, I've actually got it open on the left-hand side here. So you scroll down to spawnable here. We can spawn a new launch site. So we're going to dock that. See how that line has appeared to make sure it's docked to the start node. So we're going to click on that. And then we're going to call this Minty Launch Pad. And, well, we may as well set the color to light blue. In fact, that's the same color. Let's just have a slightly different one. The reason for this, in case you couldn't work it out from that little clue, is we're going to have it on Minmus. So we can drag this out a little bit bigger, so you can see down here. This is obviously Minmus. Let's just get it in the daytime side by rotating it. Here we go. We're going to launch from one of the flats on Minmus, because that's just a more interesting site, isn't it, really? So, we've got our launch site selected. So now what we do is, whoops, let's just get this back to a manageable size. So we now go back to spawn vessel. We can go on launch, and it doesn't always appear for some reason. I think this is just a bug that they haven't fixed yet. So we'll just reload the save, and then we go back onto spawn vessel, and it should have now appeared. Unnamed launch site. Did I not? I didn't actually name it. Hang on. Here we go. Minty launch site. Yeah, so that's the node title. We want it here, actually. There we go. So now let's just see, launch site, we want it on Minty launch site. There we are. That might have been why it didn't appear, actually. I forgot to change the name of the site. I was naming the node. I'm rushing this video, I'm sorry. But there we go. So now we've already got a nice little mission built. However, this isn't really, we haven't really done anything yet, have we? So let's get right onto it. So in this mission, we're going to be rescuing a Kerbal. So obviously we need to have a Kerbal to rescue. So we're going to go and place a Kerbal as well. So spawn a Kerbal. There we go. And let's see. We can strand just crew. We may as well just leave it. And we'll rescue Bill. We need Bill. He's a great guy. There he is. Just so you know what Bill looks like. And let's leave him landed on the Mun. And let's pop him. Let's see where we'll put him. We'll put him like here. This is as good as any, really. Let's get him on the light side. But I'll tell you what, let's pop him in the crater. There you go. Nice little location for Bill. And he's stranded. So it sets the Kerbal to be in a stranded state. They'll be uncontrollable until they are rescued. There we go. So now you can see here it's actually all here. So we'll what we'll do is we'll make this red because it's stranded. It's a dangerous situation. And not much more to add about that really. So we can name this Bill is in a sticky situation. There we go. Okay, so let's actually get to doing the mission itself, right? So the first thing we're going to do is leave a sphere of influence, right? So we can specify that they leave Minmus. So what we're going to do, we're going to make this is going to be the node here. Obviously we don't want it connected, not that we can connect it now. We don't want it connected to the start node because this is something that's happening in the mission itself. So we're going to press leave sphere of influence. I'm going to just put leave Minmus. Because obviously, if we're rescuing Bill from the mum, we have to leave Minmus. Then we're going to connect it by hitting this grey arrow here and join them together. And now look at that. This is the first node in our mission. If you want, you can have branching paths as well. So you could say, before you leave Minmus, get into a certain orbit, or you can, like, yeah. So you can have branching paths. We're not going to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to be leaving Minmus. Any vessel, it's easy to just leave that as default. If we want, we can have a screen message as well. We're not going to do that. And there we go, that's that. Now, we're going to throw a spanner into the works for our hapless players. We're going to trigger an event. So once the player leaves Minmus, something is going to happen. And we won't destroy their vessel. Let's make one of their parts fail. So a part will fail once they leave Minmus. So now we're just going to connect these together. Hang on, there we are. So a part is going to fail once they leave Minmus. So, since the player is building the ship themselves, we can't specify a part, so we're just going to press any part on the ship will fail. So, we'll make that red to signify danger. And yeah, trigger a part failure. We can probably all leave these as default. Failures to apply, let's see. Dead engine, that's a good one. So, we can be repaired. Obviously, we don't want to be too mean. We'll hit save as well. So then what we can do is the player is going to have to repair this engine before they can continue with their mission. So now what we're going to do is go back onto Kerbal and do a Kerbal EVA. You're going to have to do an EVA to repair this engine. There we go. Right. So for Kerbal EVA, we don't really need to. You can just do any crew, any. Well, it doesn't really matter. We'll just leave this at default. There'll be a round Kerbin, obviously. We can leave all this at default, really. This is just to ensure they go on EVA, really. And then what we're going to do is repair. And there we go. Repair a part. So there we go. This is probably not the most tidy way of arranging the tree, but whatever. So repair part. So it's a green, I guess, so because things are being repaired. And repair type, specific failure, dead engine. So you can see if you add more than one failure, you can repair the dead engine there. I mean, I guess we could just leave an entire vessel, but just for the sake of showing you the features of this mission builder, we'll say they repair the dead engine. And they get a brownie point or something, I don't know. So what we'll do is we'll post a screen message and it will say, the engine failure is repaired. Whoops, there we go. So that's kind of a nice little thing once they have to repair the part. In fact, no, because this is the node. So we actually see, you must repair the engine. There we go. So that's going to be, so we're going to get a screen message, mission message, we can have it on, like, I don't know, 10 seconds. I think it doesn't really matter. So in order to make sure they manage to repair their engine successfully, what we can then do is reach a new SOI, a sphere of influence, and we're going to say they have to have reached, whoops, the mun. And there we go, that's just another node. We don't really need to add this. We could just go straight to landing on the mun, but just to kind of showcase some of the nodes you can add, we'll add this. Not much more we really need to change though, so we'll just leave that as is. Then what we'll do is find landing. By the way, if you have any concern or you're not sure what any of these are, you can mouse over and it will show you. So yes, right, landed vessel. So we're going to connect these together. Again, we could have branching paths at this point. We could give Kerbals like extra points. We could get them more funds or something, or change their score if they, whoops, hang on. If they kind of went up here and went to Moho first or something. But, you know, for the sake of simplicity, we'll keep it as is. So landed vessel. And we're going to have this on the mun, obviously. the Mun. There we are. And not much more to say about that, really. We can set a screen message. Touchdown. There we are. And we want the maximum surface velocity to be at 0, ideally. Well, maybe just because of glitches and things, we can say 5 in case they decide to build some sort of rover. But there we go. That's fine. We can leave that as is. Now, obviously, we'll be rewarding them for landing on the Mun, but they could have landed in completely the wrong place. So we want to make sure that our Kerbal has actually been rescued. Kerbal rescued. Here we go. So we're going to connect these two. Again, I'm making this way more complicated than I need it to be, but I'm just kind of showing you as many potential nodes. It's as complicated as you want to make it, really. Like, it could just be start node to landed vessel straight away, but we're kind of adding these little bits throughout. Okay. Check for a Kerbal being rescued. So we can add a message if we want. I don't think we need to, though, to be honest. Kerbal rescued. Kerbal type. Oops, we want crew. Kerbal Bill Kerman. There we go. You see we stranded him earlier? Kerbal must board the vessel. So we can check that, see if the Kerbal must board the vessel. If unchecked, the Kerbal must simply come under your control. So within loaded range of another vessel. So we'll say he has to get on the ship. I feel like it would only be fair that we actually do rescue him. So there we go. Now we want to do, what we want to do is, there you go. Leave. So obviously we can't just sort of, like, it's not really rescuing if they're both just stuck on the Mun. We have to leave the Mun again. So leave the Mun. We don't really need to add anything. Obviously we want to make sure that's set as the Mun. And then finally we need to land. There we go. I guess we could do splashdown if we want to, but landing is just the same for this particular instance. There we go. We want to make sure they land on Kerbin. So let's see. Celestial body. Yep. Whoops. Where's... There we go. Kerbin. Fantastic. We could be mean. If this was an SSTO mission or something, we could make them land at the runway or kind of near enough, or the island runway even. But, you know, for simplicity's sake, we'll just say they've got to land on Kerbin. And we'll add a little message as well saying, congratulations. Whoops, I spelt that wrong. Congratulations. Now, we could leave this as, but I kind of want to show off just making a branching path. So we're going to add extra points here. So let's see, we're going to land on the Mun. We're going to create a new path. They get more points if they plant a flag. Because a lot of people get mad at me for not planting the Blunderbird's flag. So to help incentivize and help remind players that they need to plant their Blunderbird's flag, we'll add another node here. So they have to plant the flag and they get some extra points. So actually, let's just, you can use controls there, control Y, like keyboard controls to do things. And if they do that, they get more. So let's see, modify score, we can do that. So let's say we'll go from there to here. And then there to here. This is so bad, isn't it? I mean, I'm sure you could come up with something more efficient if you tried. And let's see, they get multiply by, you get 5 times more points if you remember to plant a flag to the completion bonus. We're going to get you get 11.25 completion bonus if you plant a flag. So it's pretty important that you do this. So well done. Description: well done. You planted a flag. The hardest part of the game, and I'd say that's a pretty good mission we've got going on here. So before we do this, we need to just validate it. So we need to run validation. So I've got a red. So I've pressed validate. I've got a red. So we're going to mission validation for. Let's see. No out connector and node is not an end node. So we need to have an end node here. How could I forget? So we're going to go back on here and then we're going to tick end node. When checked, the mission will end when this node activates. There we go. Now we're going to run validation again. And no validation items report. Nice. So now there's only one thing left to do. Actually, there's not one thing left to do. There's a couple of things we need to do. We're going to sort out the mission briefing. So here we go. Blunderbuss Training Academy. So let's see. Bill is stuck on Mun. You are stuck on Minmus. You have a rocket. Bill does not. You must rescue Bill. Okay, mods information. So you can actually specify mods. Whoops, so I've kind of added all my mods I've got. So you can like require any mods that you want. We don't have to. Whoops. And this is made by Matt. Mission pack. We'll leave that as it is. It's a hard mission. We're going to indicate to players that this mission is hard. We are landing on the Mun after all. And well, let's just. This is a nice picture here. I mean, we'll leave it as normal. And mission pack. Yeah, we've done all that. Objectives. But I think that's enough of designing the mission because I think you guys want to see me actually do it. So, and we'd probably be nice to test it. So we're going to press test mission. We're going to save and test. Whoops. Oh, to test your mission, you'll need to play through it first. Okay. So I can actually show you kind of all the parts we've kind of got. Create mission vessel. Blunderbird Alpha, all worked. We can't change the flag, it seems. I probably should have specified that. Whatever. So we have some new parts here. So we have a reskin of the Mark 1 command pod, so it looks much nicer, and it weighs less as well, so there's actually more reasons to use it now rather than just making your own 4-seat one. I think for this mission, we have this one as well actually. It's a Lunar lander module. I think I'll save this if we do a Saturn V recreation, but I think it'd be nice to showcase this one. This is kind of like a step up from the Mark 1 command pod here. So it's a little bit bigger, and it seats 2 Kerbals. So you can see that there. Has a few other, so both these pods have kind of their advantages and disadvantages. We could also use a Soviet one if you want. There are actually 3 Soviet ones. They look pretty much identical. The only differences are their mass and how many Kerbals they can carry. So you've got a 3-seat one, 2-seat one, and a 1-seat one. Yeah, but I think this is kind of a cool one to showcase, isn't it? So let's get into the build. So first things first, we need a parachute. That hasn't changed. There we are. And then we'll add some before we get to the fuel tanks, we need to add some thermal protection. So we'll add a heat shield there. We'll also add a decoupler, and this is the most exciting thing. First of all, actually, we have a cool little thing here. They've added an inflatable airlock, which is cool. But that's not what we're going to talk about now. We're going to be talking about the new decouplers, which are no longer ridiculously ugly, but are rather sleek. So let's get these open up. So you can see all the different sizes here. So these are the stack separators, and these are the decouplers. You can now see the only visual distinction between the two is the fact that the arrows are different. So that's just one arrow, and this is a bi-directional arrow to show that both stacks get separated. I think I'd like to use this decoupler though, because it looks kind of unique. And we can have different colors as well. So we'll have an orange one, I think. Some of the new parts can have different colors. So this is quite an ugly ship, but whatever. Let's get some fuel tanks on the go. So we can have a radial fuel tank if we wanted to. It looks a bit strange, so let's not do that. It'd be nice to showcase one of the new parts. So I think this would be the most appropriate for a Mun lander. What do you guys think? Joking, JK, obviously. That was a great joke. So this is kind of cool. So this is kind of like the next step up from this size. You can see it's kind of a new diameter of parts. So this has been all over the place, this commentary, hasn't it? Because we've kind of got a new diameter for part set, so this is kind of a nice engine size here. And there's be a good engine to put on it. I think this is actually the vacuum. We can see which one the vacuum is. Let's see. Yeah, this is the vacuum version of that engine. So there we are, 2,363 units of Delta V in this ship. That's pretty nice. I think it'd be nice to showcase some of the other fuel tanks though, so we can find some of those. We can put some peripheral tanks on if we wanted to give ourselves a little bit of extra fuel and also to showcase those tanks there. So maybe we can like clip them around the side like this. That looks very ugly. But that's them there. We also have sort of new monopropellant tanks as well. We have this gigantic monstrosity now. This is the biggest fuel tank to replace the Kerbodyne. So let's just find that big one there. Looks kind of quaint now next to this massive one here, doesn't it? So yeah, I'm going to have a lot of fun building ridiculously large vessels with that. But I don't think there's much need to kind of discuss. I mean, we could have one of these actually, as we can have a bigger engine, because we've also got the Lunar. So we have the F1 engine from Saturn V. Bit overkill for Minmus though, isn't it? So we have the J. We also have the J2, which is somewhere. There it is. There's the J2. I believe that's the J2. Anyway, again, a little bit overkill for what we really need it to be. We also have this one here, and this is the command pod engine. You know, the command module for the Apollo program. So I think that'd be kind of a cool engine to showcase. It has a bit more thrust than this weedy thing that we were planning on using there. So we'll go with this one. Looks a little bit nicer as well. And let's see if we can add another type of fuel tank, maybe at the bottom, just to add some stripes. In fact, where even is that fuel tank size? This is great content you guys are getting there. There's that one there. I feel like at this point this is a very overbuilt vessel. So let's not go too crazy. But wow, yeah, you can get some nice big sizes with these ones. We'll go with that. So there's no way that this thing can't actually perform this mission now. I think it'd be nice to add some electrical stuff as well. There we go. And obviously some solar power. I think it'd be nice to add some electrics. We need some electrics. So there we go. We can add some panels and some landing legs. We could add a fairing if we wanted to. I don't know why we would. That can be kind of what it launches out of. But you can see here we've got fairings and you can change the color of them. Don't really need to do that for this particular mission. Don't really know why I'm showing you this. So it would be nice to add some landing legs. We can actually touch down safely. But as you can see, even the biggest landing legs, okay, well, I guess they do. But for example's sake, let's say they don't quite reach below that engine bell. We can add some of the new structural panels to help build our ship outward a little bit. So let's add those panels there. And there we are. And we can actually change the color of these to be gold. So it looks a bit more sort of lunar landery. And I think you'll agree that we have an absolutely beautiful vessel here. That's very nice. Now, if we want to test what this would look like in the spaceplane hangar for literally no reason whatsoever, we can now press this button here, and you can switch to the spaceplane hangar. This is like one of my favorite features, because I spend a lot of time building a shuttle inside the spaceplane hangar, then having to exit, load in the vehicle assembly building. Now it's really easy to switch. So that's just a nice little quality of life feature that comes with this pack. Nothing else to really say, so we'll get our crew sorted, because we need to make sure that we only have one Kerbal in there, because we're obviously going to be rescuing Bill. I don't know why Bill's in here, because Bill should be stranded, but whatever. Let's go ahead and launch this. So start mission. Ah, look at that, it worked. So we've spawned on Minmus, which is obviously what we wanted. We can turn on the lights and have a look at our beautiful ship just here. So I'm guessing we can't turn on the lights. So there's no, obviously they haven't quite got around to doing the interior lights of this thing yet. Let's just time warp to the day. And there we go. So we get a nice view of the ship. So, and obviously we've got this landing pad as well, or launch pad I should say, which is a nice, simple, does the job, can't really complain about it. And we have a look inside the ship as well. We can see this really nice model actually on the inside. We can have another look with the overlay as well. And there's Jebediah there. Not a great view, but you can kind of get the gist of what I'm trying to do here. And let's just quickly make sure that Bill is actually indeed stranded on the Mun. There he is. So we need to go rescue him. So let's have a look. We're going to throttle up our engines. So we're going to activate SAS, throttle up, and activate. You can see this engine is very powerful. Whoops. Let's just get our focus back to... There we go. We're focusing on Blunderbird Alpha again. So let's see. We're going to burn upwards, get our apoapsis raised. We have this white square there. That's just a Kerbal alarm clock not quite working in this update. So just going to time warp up to apoapsis and then burn. This is a horrible Minmus ascent, by the way, I must say. This isn't a tutorial. Don't use this as a tutorial. I will just burn. And get ourselves nice and circularized. There we go. We'll just time warp up to our apoapsis point. And overshoot. And do another retrograde burn. Prograde burn, sorry. And we have a wonderful Minmus orbit. So we can quick save at this point. Create a maneuver node at periapsis, get that out like so. Make sure we're going backwards along Minmus's orbit though, because obviously we want to be going to the Mun, which is lower down. If we want to be really fancy, we could actually get our Mun encounter from here. So let's just drag this, whoops. Let's just drag this down. Don't need to be too efficient because that engine, we have way too much fuel really for what we actually need. So we'll just do this. That's fine. Let's just make sure we're getting on equatorial orbit ideally, just to make it a little bit easier on ourselves. In fact, we're not going to be, are we? Because Mimbus is on a tilted orbit. So forget I said anything. Let's just go. So we'll retract that landing gear to start. Open up that resource tab as well. So it's going to be a 5-second burn. So let's just accelerate to that point. We're actually very close to the surface, aren't we? So it's in 40 minutes. So let's just time warp around. There we go. Fine. Whatever. Does the job, doesn't it? So we'll do a quick burn with our aesthetically beautiful ship. I think you'll all agree. Let's get a nice little shot for the thumbnail there. It looks kind of like a sad face, doesn't it? Like a gas mask. Okay. So let's just make sure we're getting ourselves on a mun encounter here. So we'll just watch those. Oh, God. There we go. Right, fine. And then what we're going to do is time warp. Hopefully nothing will happen as we exit Minmus. This is just going to be a normal flight. What was that sound? What is that message? It looks like our engine has failed. Yeah, look, throttling up. Can't do anything, can't activate it. We need to fix this. So, Jebediah is going to go on his EVA. We must repair the engine, it seems. So let's have a look. We're going to go up, have a look, and... Actually, I think that's done. I think we did it. Is that... I don't actually know how you go about repairing it. I think that might be done. So there we go, guys. That's there's our engine repair done. Oh God, I'm terrible at flying these things with SAS on. Let's just disable SAS. There we are. Okay. And let's see if that worked. Jebediah, you've done it again. So yeah, we got some power again. So now nothing more to do really, other than just see if we can get our perhaps a little. Oh God. You know what? Let's just go to the mun. We'll do a quick save at this point. We're just going to go to the mun. So a horrible, nauseating camera. Let's just get that focused on Kerbin. And let's just, can we... There we go. Wonderful. Okay, and then we'll just time warp down to our mun periapsis, which is like there. Point ourselves retrograde. And full throttle. It's not going to be a very long burn because we have a very powerful engine. But it is an efficient engine. It is a vacuum optimized engine, obviously, because it's the analog for the Apollo engine. And then we'll just time warp down to lower our apoapsis. There we go. Point ourselves retrograde. And burn. And, well, there's not much more to say, really, is there? So at this point, we're just going to wait for a point in which Bill's crater passes below our orbital line. So there's Bill, point in retrograde, and just get ready to form a nice little puff just before we hit the surface. So throttling up. And we'll sort of hold speed at sort of, I don't know, just under 5 meters. Well, I ideally want to be hitting the ground at sort of 1, but we have big landing legs that can take the weight. There we are. So we'll quick save, and I think that means we've got another checkpoint. There we go, we've got landed vessel. Okay, so we need to switch to Bill. There we are. Right. So we can set our Blunderbird Alpha as our target, and we're just going to do a little hop over to it. And we shouldn't have the rescue thing just yet. Yeah, because we specify that he has to be boarded. See, Kerbal must be boarded. So here we go. We're just going to jetpack him up. In fact, we are actually going quite fast, so maybe we should just decelerate a little bit. We can just use the ship to slow ourselves down. It's fine. Overshot a little bit. Actually, no, we didn't. We need to get inside this thing here. And there we are. Kerbal rescued. Nice. We're also going to get Jebediah out on EVA, so we can plant our flag, get our reward bonus. Although I don't see that here. We've got to land on Kerbin. So I've obviously done something wrong here. Plant a flag. We'll look at that in just a second. We can plant our flag. There we are. Mun. And there we go. Right, so we're boarding back on, and I'll just check the mission. So it looks like we have to land on. Oh, so I've done this wrong. I've put rescue Kerbal or plant the Blunderbird's flag. So and Blunderbird's flag. We have to plant it on Kerbin. So obviously something's gone wrong here. So we needed to have the flag planting. Okay, so we still haven't finished the Kerbal rescue criteria yet. So things needed modifying in the mission builder. This is why we do the tests though, isn't it? So we do a quick save here. 0.90 degrees. Retract our landing gear. And I mean, this is a powerful engine, right? We can just basically start burning flat straight away. We have the power to do that. Just do a nice big burn. And just watch our apoapsis raise up. There it goes. I mean, we've got enough fuel. We may as well just go straight out of the mun, to be honest. Save some time on this video. Gotta be careful with the time warp, kids. So now we're ready to detach that decoupler, point ourselves retrograde, and just brace for re-entry, I guess. It looks like, I don't know if that's just me, it looks like the graphic for the re-entry flames has been changed, which is kind of nice, isn't it? And it looks like we're going to be ending up on this island, which is fantastic. Now I'm going to do a quick save here because I don't know if this is going to work. So let's see, what we're going to do is we're going to deploy a parachute like this. I genuinely don't know if this is going to work, so we're going to let's have a quick test. So we're going to deploy the parachute, wait for it to deploy. Yep, come on. And then what I'm going to do, God, that was close. We're going to get Jebediah on an EVA, and he's going to jump off like this, and he's going to deploy his personal parachute. Oh yes, that's right. And so you can watch that one. Oh, look at that. So yeah, that's why the EVA packs have looked different in this playthrough, because we now have personal parachutes with the Kerbals. So there we go. And this is a feature I've wanted for a while. And there has been a mod that did this, but these look much better than that mod, I think. Unless the mod changed. As far as I'm aware, the mod just used the normal parachute model. And let's see. Oh, well, we did it. We got a total score of 5. So, well, there we go. That was the mission. So we'll save and quit. And I mean, I'm not going to make this mission available to download. It's not very good. There was clearly a lot of things that needed ironing out. So, I mean, yeah, I'll probably make like just a separate video showing the actual other features. But that was the mission builder. I can't show you any of the custom making history missions just yet because they're still being finished. But that was the preview. So that was the preview.